Hi there. We're looking at something in the equipment series again, and it's the Israeli trauma bandage, the T3. Now, tactical combat casualty care prioritizes massive hemorrhage in saving life, and therefore any trauma pack should contain the equipment to do this. And really, using my IFAC as an example, the items for that include the CAT, Combat Application Tourniquet, some sort of hemostatic agent, this is Quick-Clot, and some sort of trauma pad or dressing. And there's many types. For example, you have a civilian type here. You have a military special forces pack here. And you have the Israeli dressing here. Now this is the original Israeli dressing, which really took the market by storm in a way, with some extra features. And I have used it for several years, but more recently they brought out the T3, and that's what's in my trauma pack at the moment, the T3 version, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So the differences between the T3 and the original, and I'll go over the various features, and I'll insert some pictures to discuss this as well. So first of all, like the original, you have this waterproof outer cover, and it can be used as an occlusive dressing in a pneumothorax situation. It can also be used to cover the bandaged wound in an austere environment, rainfall situation. So once you've completed bandaging the trauma, you can put the waterproof cover over it. You can split it, put it over it, and you can secure it in some way. And there's items in the pack that do that. The next item is an amount of gauze or elastic material which is included, and this can be used to pack a wound. Now, wound packing might be very, very important, particularly in things like abdominal wounds where you can't really apply much in the way of pressure. And it can also be used as a secondary bandage to secure, for example, the cover, as I mentioned, over the entire wound in a bad weather situation. We now have the main bandage and the pad which is attached to it, and this is used much in the way of a normal trauma dressing. Put it over the wound and you secure it with the bandage. The feature of the Israeli system enables you to do a couple of additional things which we'll come to. But one of the things about this particular length of bandage that they've included are some breakaway threads which stop the bandage unrolling if you lose your grip on it and dropping into the mud, for example. So it's a really handy little item. So you've got the bandage, the pad. It's quite long, and it will go right round the limb or even round the torso on normal sized people. Then next, an additional feature is a second pad, and this can be used either in conjunction with the main pad to cover a wide area, a massive trauma to a limb or to the torso, but it can also be detached and used for a secondary injury, for example an exit wound, and you can do this in conjunction with the gauze, which also doubles as a bandage. So you can apply two separate bandages for the price of one. The other feature of the Israeli system is the torsion bar. So once you have wrapped the bandage round, you can it goes through the clip and back on itself, and you wrap it comprehensively around the wound, and then you can apply pressure by twisting the torsion bar, much in the way of the torsion bar on the cat. It's not a tourniquet, but it does apply a significant amount of pressure, which does help to reduce bleeding. So it's a useful item. Then the bandage is secured by putting it through the clip, which has teeth, and you don't need pins, you don't need tape or anything like that, or to be slicing the bandage to make a knot, any of that kind of thing. It's much quicker, enables you then to go on with your assessment or to move on to another casualty. So the torsion bar and the clip together, they're made of plastic, and they are the kind of signature item on the Israeli dressing. Now, some people recommend that you open the outer dressing, the outer cover, for ease of access, because inside there is another waterproof cover. So that's great, and you may want to do that. The objection to that is if you're operating in a maritime environment, for example, where you're going to be immersed or splashed with water continuously, you might want to keep the integrity of the waterproof pack. If you do open your pack, then what I would do is slip my little idea I have of using an old credit card and wrapping duct tape around it, slip it in there, and then if you are using the cover as an occlusive dressing over for pneumothorax, you've got the tape to secure it. Just a little tip. And then with all skills, you need training, and the training should be realistic. We do a certain amount of scenario training and include the first aid situations in it. A good idea, and we've done this on some of the courses, is to include it with a suit fight. So you fight the suit, you're absolutely drained, and then you're presented with some sort of first aid problem. And we find even we've had guys who are first aid instructors, and they just completely forget. They can't even open a dressing. Everything goes to the motor skills completely decline, and they're all thumbs. So training, and keep current.